We are doing a host-only episode today to recap kind of January Ghost production.
I think that's just the way it's gonna go, and it's a whole nother business model that we don't think about.
Festival prices getting crazy. Why are they so high? Tell me now.
I don't know. With Raver math, though, festival tickets are still a great deal because you get 30 artists.
McFarland's trying to come back and host another Fyre Festival. I would never give this guy any bit of my money.
Absolutely not. The show doesn't have a lineup. It doesn't even have a location set.
The highest ticket price is $1 million. How are you going to charge them this? What? With no lineup?
It really shows how gullible people on the internet are.
Getting out there, though. Boeing 747, they're the 70 Max or something like that. What they call the plug, a.k.a. emergency exit door, blew off. The prices are high. Doors are flying off planes. I'm okay. I'm going to stay home this year.
Excision is going to be doing Snake Pit this year, which is the Indy 500, which is pretty big.
That's what I love about the EDM world. There's so much room for growth and expansion, and it's like we're still such a young genre. We are doing a host-only episode today. Our guest, who was supposed to be this week, got sick. She went to Groove Cruise. It was actually the creator of the year. We'll tease it here. Creator of the year, Emma Capotes, who is the host of Rave Culture Cast as well. She went to Groove Cruise to do her job and was there for work, I'm pretty sure. And she ended up getting, I don't know if it's COVID, but she got really sick. So she had to cancel on us this week. So instead, we were going to do a host-only episode next week, and we just swapped weeks. So there'll be a longer period of non-host only episodes in between the next one, but doing this one a week early. So welcome to the show. Halley, how we doing? How's life?
Life's good. No complaints. Yeah. Good. Looking forward to an exciting weekend. I have Thunderdome coming up, so excited to see what's in store there.
Oh yeah, this weekend, huh?
Yeah, came up on us fast.
Sick. Very fast. Very fast. Yeah, it's crazy that it's going to be February tomorrow. When this episode goes out, it'll already be February. Mm-hmm. So January is already done, but to recap kind of January, some hot topics that are going on in the EDM world. One is ghost production. There's been a lot of talk about ghost production. Nosphere posted on Twitter about it, and then I saw a few people talk about it afterwards. One of those people being
Odd Prophet made the video.
Who was the person that we were Odd Prophet? That's what I was missing. Odd Prophet made the video. And yeah, just I wanted to kind of dive into that topic of what do you think about it? I know there's what we call ghost production in this industry. It doesn't really exist in other genres because ghost production is just a part of the process in literally every other genre. But for some reason in EDM, we put this high value on the artist has to be the producer as well, and it has to be only done by them. And I don't know if I fully agree with that personally, but what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I fully agree with it either, but I think it does just boil back down to electronic music mainly just being production. So then you have to be creating that yourself to put it out under your name. Even though DJing originally started just by mixing in other people's tracks and blending the tracks together. And I don't know when it separated from being like DJs to being producers, and when that became not okay.
Right. Yeah. Especially in the newer age. Yeah. It went from, vinyl, even just people I was saying before this, people playing on vinyl, people still do that. But when people are playing on vinyl, they play most of the time. Those aren't sometimes, and especially the professionals are their own records too. But a lot of those older artists that were just the DJs were spinning records that weren't even theirs, and they were able to tour and do well in clubs and do they're kind of similar to what the club scene is now. Like they do produce some of their own music, but yeah, even starting all the way back then with vinyl, it's crazy how things have changed. What do you think about people like celebrity DJs? I know Paris Hilton is one of them. We have Shaq, who is specifically in dubstep in our kind of sector of the world. But there's been quite a few celebrity DJs that have come out. I know even Shaq came out with an album last year. What do you think for people like that with ghost production? Do we give them a pass, or do you think that those type of people, if they want to be in this industry, should also play the game?
I think everyone has their own sector that they can be in. Shaq is at a level where it allows him to produce events and do more for the community than just putting out the music. And if it allows him a platform to do that, then I don't really see what's wrong with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was saying too, like looking at other influencers or people who got famous in other worlds. For example, bring up Logan Paul doing all the boxing events and wrestling, and he's like one of the top WWE superstars right now. But then he also and he was able to make that transition and do so well right off the bat because he was already famous from Vine and YouTube and everything else that he does. So I think once you become like that big of a brand and like on a global scale, that big of a name and that famous, you kind of can get into anything. But yeah, I don't know. I think for like specifically Shaq, I think that like, I don't know. I think it's, for me, I give him a pass more so than someone who is an artist, just because it's not he's a basketball player at the end. Like that's what his fame was built off of, was him playing basketball. So I think he still throws down at shows. I still really enjoy his sets. I've seen him a few times. Yeah. Do you enjoy his music? Like when have you seen him live?
Shaq's set is always fun, of course. I mean, he did the world's largest female mosh pit at Lost Lands last year, I think.
Oh yeah.
And that was a really cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool that you were a part of it. I remember that. I remember seeing videos from that. And then also just like his relationships that he, builds with the people in the industry. I know he's really close to like Level Up. I think he brought her out, or she brought him out during Lost Lands too. And that relationship's cool to see. So yeah, I think Shaq is here to stay, and I appreciate what he's doing for the scene. Cause yeah, even talking about the all girl thing, he really stands for that, because he just threw shout out to so-and-so, a friend of mine that is from my area. She just played the Shaq-based All-Star show in, where was that? Vegas? Something like that. But that was an all-girl lineup.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was all-female lineup.
Yeah. Besides him. Yeah. So I think he really like strives to be able to put girls on and like curate special events specifically, or even just the mosh pit thing. Like he does specific things for the females of our industry. So that's awesome. And I don't even know, I think Shaq does put input, going back to the ghost production stuff. I think Shaq, he doesn't fully get ghost produced. Like he still puts input. He still gets on the call, gets on calls with artists who is helping him do his production. And I think he gets his hands dirty too. So I think it's not just like he pays someone to
I don't think do
his music and he's not
involved. I don't
think
any artist is going to be completely ghost produced at this point.
Yeah.
Like you have to know what
if you want to do it, like you have to have like and you have to have some form of like, if you're really wanting to be a musician or be up there on stage, there's got to be some level of like, I actually love this and I want to do this. It's not just like a get rich quick or, money grab or anything like that. Like they have some form of inherent love for this anyway. So why wouldn't you want to be a part of the music production process? So that's my 2 cents on that.
I mean, it just reminded me back to when Space Laces and Getter were in conflict with Excision. Like this topic of ghost production has to be brought up like twice a year.
Literally happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
It's an engagement tool.
How long ago? Yeah, that's true. How long was, because it does get people on one side or the other. It caused us to talk about it this time. Like it does cause conversation, because some people have, it's kind of like one of the divided things where some people are like, who gives a shit? And then other people are like, no, it has to, like the EDM purists, like you have to do it, which I'm not saying that like, I don't know if I'd call myself a purist, but I do like certain things a certain way. And I do think there's a right and a wrong way to do things. I think we all do, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting topic, but yeah, it does cause conversation for sure. Do you think artists are being taken advantage of in these situations, or do you think it's fair do you think it's not fair for artists who are trying to put in their like blood, sweat, and tears into this for just someone who's already has fame to pass them up in a sense?
I mean, I think that's just the way it's going to go. If other people have that opportunity, they're going to take that opportunity where they see fit. And if other people are putting in their blood, sweat, and tears producing these songs and are willing to sell them to whoever's going to pay for it, then they know what they're doing. Like you are allowing your song to be passed on. And it's a whole nother business model that we don't think about, that people
For sure.
make business or like make money off of, that it just doesn't get talked about because it would hurt the artist branding or their branding.
Yeah, but like why? Like, because we, again, going back to like pop or country or R&B or literally anything else, no one cares, and it happens all the time. It's just how business works in
because electronic music is based off production. Like that is the root of the root of the genre.
So is everything though, no?
I mean, with pop music, there's a lot of songwriting and lyricism that comes into that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
As a I don't even know what to call Camby. A top liner, I guess, is what I know her best as.
Vocalist.
Yeah. She basically does the same thing as like Taylor Swift on a much different scale, but like she's a songwriter. She does the vocals, like, and Taylor Swift doesn't make her beats, doesn't make her melodies, doesn't, she's the mainly songwriter and the performer. Why in the EDM world do we treat our top liners and people of that people who do that in specific differently than like a Taylor Swift? We like don't value them as much almost. And like they basically do the same thing. So as like a manager, what is your thoughts on that?
That they need to be taken more seriously as artists and credited as such. I mean, that's one big thing that John Summit is doing, is he's giving full like collaborations and half royalties to his top liners and his vocalists that he brings on. And he's been advocating for the equal share of the song writers. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually trying to treat them fairly as musicians in their own respect and like as a collaboration instead of just like, here's $500 for a top line. Yeah. Next topic, festival prices. Getting crazy. Why are they so high? Tell me now. No, I'm just kidding. I want answers. No, it's for real though. Festival prices are going up crazy. Over $100 increase from previous years. We're mainly talking some of our favorite festivals. I haven't been to Electric Forest, but Lost Lands, EDC and Electric Forest in specific are the ones that went up almost $100 from the previous year. And you had an interesting point that it's just as the genre is gaining in popularity, that's probably what's going to be the result of that, is we're going to see higher prices. So do you think there's anything else that factor into, I mean, inflation, but...
I mean, for Lost Lands specifically, because I've been so many times, I've got to see that the standard of production and what they do for the festival grounds
grows a lot,
grows so much. And I mean, you can see where the higher ticket price that you're paying is going within the festival.
It's not like California taxes, where we pay out the ass for taxes and nothing happens.
Don't know where it's going.
I'm glad it... Yeah, right? Why are there still broken roads and people on the street homeless? I'm very confused. I pay a lot of money to the government. Besides the point, back to what we were saying. I'm glad to see that it's actually getting put to use. And I have only been to EDC once, and like I said, I haven't been to Electric Forest, so I don't see those festivals growing, but I have gone to Lost Lands the last 4 years, and it has for sure grown a lot, and they've actually put the money to use. So that's good to see.
And I mean, no, I went to 5 festivals last year. I'm probably only going to do 1 or 2 this year just because of that. But then it gives other...
I don't even know if I'm going to do any.
I mean, Thunderdome is pretty much already a festival just because it's 3 days.
True.
Even though it only has 1 stage. Yeah. And I mean, it's not like we do have to get an Airbnb and stuff, but it's not like we're camping or it's an entire curated experience. But that'll be one of them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, I guess you could count. I went to Wobbleland not two weeks ago, a week ago, something like that. And I guess it was like a 2-day, not put on by Excision, but similar to that event. It was at the Bill Graham. So I guess you could count that as a festival, but I also worked during the day and then went to the festival at night. So I didn't take time off for either. Yeah. Shout out to Resurrect too. The guy hooked it up. I was able to get in thanks to him. Nice. So if you're listening to this, man, thank you so much.
With Raver math, though, festival tickets are still a great deal because you get 30 artists. So 30 artists divided by that is...
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that brings me to my next point of, do you think it's going to ever EDM because it's gaining in popularity, and we've heard people on our show say that it's like the Hyphy was saying that it's kind of becoming the sound of our generation. Do you think that it's going to be getting artists like Excision's level or Illenium or some of the big guys in our industry? Do you think ticket prices for their single events are ever going to hit the same level of prices as like a Post Malone or Drake or anything like that in the future? Not right now, obviously, but
years down the road, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're still never going to have that as wide of spread popularity that someone like Drake or Beyonce does.
Maybe, though. Maybe someone in our industry might.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That would be cool.
Someday. Because, like, look at, like, rock bands now. Like, rock bands, like, in, like, the 80s, people were Drake size. But now there's no one, I don't think, well, maybe, but I think the two biggest artists that or three biggest, Kanye, Drake, Taylor Swift, like, that level, like, that used to be the rock stars back in the day. And then now it's, like, pop, rap. It's like, who knows? If this is really the sound of our generation, then when we're our parents' age, maybe.
Well, Odezzo is already doing, like, I think $300 or so for tickets
that's
for
insane.
their
how much, dude? How much is a trilogy?
I haven't looked that up.
Because that might be close, maybe. But that's like a really special curated event, and he doesn't that's not an every night tour budget.
And I know Illenium
once a year.
I think said that they were going to have the most amount of lasers that they've had at any electronic show.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that really surprised me because I'm like, I'm probably about to see quite a few lasers this weekend. So I want to see
I don't know how they're going to top that. That's going to be interesting. What show was that supposed to be at Trilogy and the LA show? Talking about festivals, Fyre Festival 2 might be coming back.
I have some huge news. The final pre-sale for Fyre Festival 2 is live right now. Just a quick warning. If you have to ask who the lineup is before dropping $1 million, Fyre is not for you. If you'd rather go to an EDM show, put glitter in your face, lounge in the grass, and not jump in the water with the sharks, Fyre is not for you. Fyre is not for the listener. Fyre is not for the consumer. Fyre is for the doer. Fyre is about the most insane 3 days of your entire life with a handful of wild weekends leading up to it. We'll of course have great music and great artists, but Fyre is about the flying, the diving, the jumping, the exploring, and everything else that I probably shouldn't talk about on here.
McFarland's trying to come back and host another Fyre Festival Part 2, and I guess do it right in order to pay back all of the people who invested in the first one that he fucked over. So I would never get this guy any bit of my money, but yeah, I guess he's trying to come back. I don't know how he's going to do that.
Absolutely not. I mean, the show doesn't have a lineup. It doesn't even have a location set yet.
Yeah, on their website, it literally just says, like, what, Cancun or where the fuck it's, like, it's literally just, like, or the Caribbean Ocean. Caribbean Sea. Yeah, that's what it says. Like, where is that? Yeah. It's so big.
Sit in the middle on a boat. Got to take a plane to get there. He's just going to end up stranding people again.
Everyone's going to be stuck on a yacht. Out in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. No.
It's not ideal.
No, definitely not. And ticket prices, the highest ticket price, and I guess they have more access than the artist access, but the highest ticket price is $1 million. How are you going to charge them this? What, with no lineup? No.
What does that get you?
Yeah, and that. Yeah, it doesn't have any details to anything. So if he was coming back and had details, had a lineup, was actually doing it properly, and was actually marketing it correctly, and it didn't just seem like a money grab where he was holding all the secrets and like, that guy's not to be trusted. Why is he keeping secrets about details? Like, that's what he did the first time.
Why is he releasing tickets without any type of information? I feel like it really shows how gullible people on the internet are, since people did buy the tickets.
Yeah, true. What the hell? Why? Yeah. People are irresponsible with their money. Yeah, because I mean, even like normal festivals like EDC or whatever it may be, like when did they release the lineup? Not until it gets closer, right? So I mean, I guess that part's kind of normal, but they have a location. They have track record that's positive. They have, I don't know. things are
amenities, food vendors,
yeah, they have information.
housing.
Yeah. And I think they come out with like the map pretty early too, so that you can kind of get an idea of, you know, what hotel you want to stay at and all that kind of stuff too, and proximity to the event site. So yeah, I'm concerned for the people who have bought tickets. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if they'll make a Fyre Fest movie too.
Probably so. And I doubt it's going to be a really fun highlight reel from the weekend.
Definitely not. Getting out there though, taking flights. Boeing 747, they're the 70 Max or something like that. The one of the doors.
The Max 8 or 9.
Whatever it was. What they call the plug, aka emergency exit door, blew off. And since a lot of people in our industry take flights, especially touring artists, are flying everywhere all week long, this is kind of a big deal for not only us, but just flight safety in general. I was listening to, I know you said you haven't heard of him, but for anyone who's listening to this, Patrick Bet-David, PBD, I listen to him pretty religiously. They were talking about the same story, and he was saying how, I guess and I don't know how true this is, it's just what they were talking about. But they were saying in the last like 4 years, the inspections of the planes before they went out, like the problem here, and we watched the video on it, I guess there was bolts that weren't even installed. So the safety check measures that Boeing is doing is not up to par to what FAA standards. So FAA is cracking down on them. Yeah, just crazy. It could be very dangerous, and it's scary to think that so many of our friends and loved ones and people that we care about in this industry could be on one of those flights.
That makes me just not want to get on a plane.
Yeah, right. Festivals this year, the prices are high, doors are flying off planes. I'm okay. I'm going to stay home this year.
Probably just going to stay home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying to see.
At least no one was
like
injured in that one, though.
True, but there was a phone.
Everyone was safe.
Not even the phone that flew all the way and hit the ground was injured. There was an iPhone that fell out of the plane or got sucked out the door, and I guess some dude found it. It was in airplane mode, and they had their ticket information on it, so they're able to. It was completely unharmed, and they were able to get the phone back to the. Can you imagine your phone flying out of an airplane window? That you would immediately, okay, my phone's gone. But then you get it back?
Yeah.
What?
Again, I'm never seeing that again. Oh, wait, here it is.
Yeah, right?
I mean, Apple is stronger than Boeing at this point.
True. Yeah, their material, I don't know about their materials, but material on iPhones are pretty good. Yeah, crazy. Do you have any thoughts on safety or what they should do better? Obviously, inspect their planes.
I mean, you just have to run those initial checks. Yeah.
Bolts missing. How does that happen? How do you how was that plane allowed to go in the air? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Someone did not do their job.
Yeah, definitely.
Or did it terribly.
Yeah. Or just maybe forgot. That's kind of a poor excuse though. The plane.
But I think Boeing did take responsibility for
sure, yeah.
The manufacturing issues.
As they should. I wonder if that's going to affect, because they're like, what other companies build planes? I don't even know what other. I mean, I've only really heard of Boeing's for. I think that's the company of all major airlines. That's interesting.
Yeah.
If this shit continues, like, I wonder if there's going to be another company that comes up and we're doing shit better. Elon, we need you. You can build
a Tesla
spaceships.
Plane. I'm not sure about that either.
Electric plane. Fuck, the future is scary. Yeah, an electric plane, that'd be insane. Yeah, I mean, if he can build rockets, why not? He can. I think he could do pretty well at building a plane. Similar ideas, and he's smart as fuck. I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't continue, and this taught Boeing a lesson. And I'm just like you said, I'm glad no one was injured, and hopefully no other instances, or hopefully this is going to stop, and they're going to inspect everything, and nothing else is going to happen after this. We wanted to get into our last topic. I know this is a short episode. We just wanted to kind of pop in and catch up on topics. But Tiesto is playing the Super Bowl. That's coming up in 2 weeks. One of the first DJs to ever play the Super Bowl. I guess they're saying, the NFL is saying that he's the first in-game. I don't know what the difference is between there's been 5 other DJs that have played the Super Bowl in the past, but he's the first in-game. I don't know what the difference is there. I guess what that means for him, though, is he's going to be playing during the commercial breaks. So you can have the choice of either watching that or Tiesto, luckily for us, is going to be live streaming his while he's playing whatever he's playing. I don't know what that's going to look like since it is commercial breaks. I don't know if he's going to pop in and out or we'll see. But we will be able to watch his performance at the Super Bowl since it probably won't be televised since it's during the commercials.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited to see EDM, something else in the EDM world that like we're in the Super Bowl now. So that's exciting.
Being on that big of a scale is huge. Just getting this genre to people that haven't heard it.
Yeah, NFL
as
I think
much.
or the Super Bowl, not NFL normal games, but the Super Bowl I'm pretty sure is like next to like the World Cup has like the most, is like one of the top viewed events throughout the year. I think it has.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. How many views? So 113 million, and I think the World Cup gets how many views? 1.5 billion. So that's a much different scale. But being that it's only an American sport, Americans' percentage, because I mean the World Cup is the world. So you have Italy, you have all the other countries who have television, which is I'm pretty sure is everyone at this point of the future, I guess. But yeah, I think it's one of the biggest viewed sporting events in the U.S. So having that amount of exposure for Tiesto, I know he played. I don't know what the Olympics get, but Tiesto also, and I don't remember what year this was or where it was, but he did play the Olympics. Again, I don't know when it was, but he has played the Olympics too. So some of the other DJs that were mentioned, though, or who have played Super Bowls in the past, DJ Khaled, which isn't EDM, but DJ Nice.
I know Zed was there.
Zed was there. DJ Snake also. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and I'm glad that EDM is doing something on that big of a scale.
Yeah, mixing the electronic music genre and sports has been a big thing. I know they just announced that Excision is going to be doing Snake Pit 2 this year, which is the Indy 500, which is pretty big.
Excision doing that?
Concert before that. Yeah.
That's fire. And it's dubstep. It's one thing to have Tiesto, because that's obviously it's more like I think more people, it's a bigger, how do I say this? It appeals to a bigger audience. Tiesto's music, I think. It's like just general like house club type music. But being that it's like Indy 500 Excision bass music, like that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard that. That's
so
cool.
I love to see the overlap now between the two.
EDM's taking over. EDM is like Hyphy said, EDM is the sound of our generation. So hopefully we continue seeing more of this. Yeah, it'd be cool. I know last episode that was team only, we talked about the EDMs, and I think that would be cool if it got to the point where like either we have a live stream of like an actual show, or like someone actually puts together like a televised award show instead of just doing like a social media thing. That would be a cool thing to see too in the future. But there's so much, that's what I love about the EDM world. There's so much room for growth and expansion, and it's like we're still such a young genre. So it's cool seeing it grow.
Yep. There's so much room for people to do whatever they want with it. Like if you see that this niche is not being filled, like figure out how to fill it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Just like what you did too.
Yep. I was like, radio
This
station, that's kind of what we did. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's all we have topics wise. I'm sure more things will happen and are currently happening, but that's what we have down to talk about. Actually, I wanted to get into talking about, before we wrap up, just how do you feel now that you've been doing, the podcast now for a month? We've done 2 interviews now with 2 awesome guests, or 4, I guess. Technically, Hostage Situation is 3. But we've done 2 episodes that weren't just us. How are you feeling with how things are going?
It's going really well. I love getting to learn about everyone when they come on the show. It's always fun doing like our pre-research with you and just sitting to talk about whatever we find. It's been a really great opportunity so far. I love it.
Yeah. So I think we've found a little bit more of a rhythm during our interviews. We in our outline we color code who's kind of asking a question. We kind of have a flow now to it. So I think that was a cool
Makes it
thing
much
that we
easier.
kind of figured out how to do. Yeah, that made last episode a lot easier. Yeah. I think you've done a great job. You've been a huge help. You've taken literally a whole day of work away from me so I can focus on other things that I got to get done. So I appreciate that. But yeah, you've been doing a great job. And I think it's been fun having someone add to the conversation and add to, you bring a different perspective to not just my brain working on like, what do we want to ask people or what do we want to talk about, but also like you're an extra brain. You've been a huge help. So thank you.
Yeah,
my life has been much easier. I didn't realize how much of a beast it was to have a podcast and run it as a host, as a solo host. And it makes sense why so many of the big shows have multiple hosts and they have a team behind them and stuff. So it's been a big learning curve for me of training you and, John, and like relinquishing, or I guess, how do you even say that? Distributing, I don't know, giving you guys control and giving you guys offloading tasks from my plate. And yeah, actually, like I have a whole day now where I can just sit and watch TV and relax and have a recovery day, which is what I did yesterday. But it's been nice to actually like have downtime, have recovery time, not be going a million miles an hour all the time. So
yeah, everyone needs time for that.
Yeah, it's been a big learning curve for me, and I hope I can set an example with that for anyone else who's out there listening that has their own project, or even for the musicians out there. To a certain point, for a while, I think it's good for artists to do their own business, play local shows, do their own, like do everything themselves. And I'm very grateful for the time that I had, that I did do everything myself, because I know how every piece of this works. And I think that's important for young artists too, or really any young profession, photography, management, anything you're doing. Start small, do it yourself, but there does come a time where you can't do everything all on your own. So thank you for coming in. I think you're doing a great job.
Of course. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's all we had for today. So I hope you guys have a good week, and we'll be back next week with Emma Capotes. Have a good week, guys.